Introduction. Put this under your pillow on February 22nd. What if I told you this simple act, done with presence, intention, and ancient wisdom, could begin to unlock something far greater than money? Something deeper than luck, something sacred. Welcome. You've been led here for a reason, whether by curiosity, coincidence, or quiet desperation. Something within you brought you to this moment. So take a breath. Let the noise of the world fade. This is not just another ritual video, and it's certainly not about superstition. This is a doorway, and you're standing right at its edge. February 22nd holds a particular energetic alignment, a space in the calendar where time seems to soften and unseen currents move beneath the surface. According to certain Buddhist teachings, these liminal windows, rare and quiet, are invitations, not to chase riches, but to receive them through inner stillness, karmic clarity, and subtle shifts of the mind. But what you place beneath your pillow on this night isn't just a thing, it is a symbol, a whisper to the universe, a gesture of readiness, and yes, when aligned with compassion, focused thought, and detachment, it can ripple outward in ways you wouldn't expect, including abundance, wealth, and opportunity. This teaching has been passed on quietly, mostly in corners of temples, among monks and practitioners who understand the difference between wanting and welcoming. What we'll explore today is both gentle and powerful, a small sacred act that reflects an old truth that what we hold in our hearts shapes what arrives at our doors. So stay with me. In this video, we will walk step by step through what to place under your pillow, why February 22nd matters, and how to prepare your space and your spirit. You'll learn the deeper layers behind this practice, and by the end, you'll be holding not just a physical item, but a seed of intention infused with wisdom. Let's begin this quiet journey together. 1. The quiet power of February 22. There are days that come and go unnoticed, and then there are days that hum with a subtle current, like something beneath the surface is gently stirring. February 22 is one of those days. In some Buddhist traditions, it is seen as a day when the spiritual and material worlds lean a little closer to one another, like two hands meeting in prayer. It's not the date itself that holds the magic, but the energy that gathers around it. In numerology, the number 2 represents balance, harmony, duality, and choice. And when that number is repeated, 222, the energy doesn't double, it deepens. It becomes an opening, a space where intentions settle more clearly, and where the mind's quiet voice becomes easier to hear. Many people have spoken of small, meaningful shifts that happen to them on this date, not always loud or life-changing, but personal. A letter arriving at just the right time, a long-lost friend reaching out without explanation, a peaceful feeling returning after months of uncertainty. These moments are often brushed off as chance, but chance has a rhythm too if you listen closely. In spiritual practice, timing matters. Just as the moon affects the tides without effort, certain days affect us, not to control, but to remind. February 27th is a gentle reminder that what you seek may already be seeking you, and that by aligning yourself, even with a small act like placing something beneath your pillow, you are meeting life halfway. You don't need to believe in magic for this to mean something. You only need to pause, to notice the day, to enter it with a little more care. That alone can open a space for something new to arrive. So on this quiet day, trust the silence. Trust the simplicity. This is not about forcing an outcome or demanding a miracle. It's about softening your grip on worry and letting a whisper of intention rise in its place. February 22nd doesn't ask for much. Only your presence, only your willingness to listen with your heart and to act with calm clarity. And from there, something begins, gently, quietly, but surely. 2. Why the pillow holds energy. There is something sacred about where we lay our head. The pillow, though simple, becomes a quiet altar, a place that holds the final thoughts of the day and welcomes the first whispers of morning. In many spiritual traditions, sleep is not just rest, it is a return, a gentle retreat from the physical world into the inner one, where messages, healing, and subtle changes can begin to unfold. When we sleep, the thinking mind softens, the grip of logic loosens, and in that softness, energy can move more freely, not in loud, visible ways, but in delicate, meaningful shifts. That is why placing something beneath your pillow is not just symbolic, it is energetic. You are giving your intention a place to settle, not in your hands, but close to the space where your mind lets go. The pillow absorbs more than comfort. It holds emotion, memory, longing, hope. You may notice that when you're restless, your pillow never feels quite right, but when you're at peace, it welcomes you like a trusted companion. This is not by chance. This is energy in quiet form. In Buddhist thought, our relationship to the physical world is always reflective. Every object we interact with carries an impression, not because the item itself is magical, but because we are. When we treat a space or item with awareness, we awaken its purpose. A stone becomes an anchor, a candle becomes a prayer, and a pillow becomes a threshold. So when you place something under your pillow on February 22nd, it's not about hiding it away. It's about letting it rest close to your spirit, held by your stillness, carried by your breath, woven into your dreams. There are stories of people who have done this not to receive something, but simply to feel more connected. And that connection itself brought calm, clarity, and in time, surprising opportunities. Not because they chased them, but because they listened. Let your pillow be more than a cushion tonight. Let it become a gentle space of trust, not a place of demand, but of offering. And as you sleep, allow the energy you've placed there to unfold on its own, quietly, naturally, and with grace. 3. The symbolic item to use. In spiritual practice, the object itself is never the power. It's the intention behind it that awakens meaning. So when we speak of placing something under your pillow, we're not looking for something grand or expensive. In truth, it should be the opposite, something small, quiet, and full of personal resonance. The symbolic item you choose is not meant to impress the universe. It's meant to reflect your inner state, a token of alignment between your thoughts and your energy. It's less about asking for wealth and more about gently declaring your readiness to receive it with peace, not urgency. Wealth in Buddhist thought is not only gold or coin, it is clarity, calm, opportunity, insight. And when these are held deeply within, outer abundance follows in its own way and time. So the item you choose should speak to you in a language only you fully understand. It could represent clarity, it could hold the feeling of peace, it could simply remind you of who you are when you're not afraid. Don't overthink. The item should come to you easily, quietly, not by force, but by feeling. You'll know it by the stillness it carries when you hold it. It doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. That's how you'll know it's yours. This is not about superstition or manipulation. You're not placing the item to make something happen. You're offering it as a symbol of presence, of care, of a willingness to participate in the flow of life rather than chase it. You are showing the universe that you understand how energy works, that quiet attention matters more than loud demands. As you prepare the item, handle it with respect, not because it is powerful, but because you are. The way you hold it, the way you breathe as you place it, the simplicity of your gesture, this is the real offering. Let it be light, let it be clear, let it be chosen with trust, not fear. And as you slide it beneath your pillow, know that it is no longer just an object. It has become a mirror of your readiness. Nothing more is needed, not from the world, not even from you. Just this one quiet act of sacred placement. That is enough. 4. What time to place. Time in the spiritual sense is more than numbers on a clock. It's a rhythm, a quiet invitation to align with the natural flow of energy. When we ask, what time should I place the item under my pillow? We are really asking, when is the right moment to be fully present with my intention? And the answer is simple, just before you sleep. This is the threshold between day and night, thought and stillness, effort and surrender. It is the hour when your body begins to soften, your thoughts begin to quiet, and your inner self becomes just a little more open. In Buddhist practice, this space between waking and dreaming is powerful because what you hold in your heart at this time gently imprints onto your consciousness and flows into the unseen. But here is where we must pause and reflect because this moment is often missed. Too often, we carry the noise of the day into our sleep. We fall into bed full of distractions, scrolling, worrying, replaying. Our final thoughts are not sacred, but scattered, and so we miss the quiet doorway that the night offers. Many of us have grown used to rushing through life, always looking for quick answers, for immediate results, for rituals that promise something but ask nothing in return. And yet, the most powerful moments are always the ones we slow down for. So this time, don't just toss the item under your pillow in a hurry. Make it an offering. Choose a moment after everything else has been set aside. Turn off the light, breathe. Sit on the edge of your bed and remember why you're doing this. Not for control, not out of fear, but to align with something softer, deeper, more timeless than your to-do list or your worries. Let your final act before sleep be sacred. Place the item gently, with reverence, and lie down not to escape the day, but to release it. Know that what you've just done matters, not because it will guarantee an outcome, but because it opens a space for energy to move, unseen but real. You don't need to be perfect. You only need to be present. And that presence at the quietest hour is what begins to shift everything. 5. Preparing your space with stillness. Before any sacred act, there must be stillness. Not the kind of silence that comes from shutting out noise, but the kind that arises when you begin to soften within. Preparing your space for this practice is not about decoration or ritual in the traditional sense. It's about making room for something subtle, something real to arrive. In many spiritual traditions, the outer space reflects the inner. A cluttered room is often a reflection of a cluttered mind. A rushed atmosphere mirrors a restless heart. And so, before placing anything beneath your pillow, it's wise to pause and clear the energy around you. Not to make it perfect, but to make it open. This doesn't require candles, incense, or elaborate ceremony. Simply start by noticing. Notice how your room feels. Is it busy? Is it heavy? Or is it calm and welcoming? Then, with gentle hands and an unhurried mind, begin to shift it. Fold what is loose, tidy what is tangled, open a window if the air feels old. Let a little light in, and as you do, imagine you're not cleaning a room. You're creating a space that honors your intention. Spiritual energy responds to respect, not fear, not pressure, just quiet attention. When your space is tended to, it begins to hold your intention with you. It becomes a soft container for your focus, a witness to your readiness. But even more important than the outer space is your inner one. As you move around your room, notice your breath, notice the pace of your thoughts. If they're moving too fast, sit, close your eyes, place your hand on your chest, come back to yourself. You are not preparing for a performance. You are preparing to receive, and receiving begins with stillness, not emptiness, but presence, the kind of presence that says, I'm here, I'm listening, I'm ready. Let your room reflect that. Let your energy mirror that. This is your sacred space now, even if only for a night. It doesn't need to look spiritual. It only needs to feel spacious. And in that space, something gentle can enter, not forced, not loud, just a quiet arrival of something meant for you, drawn in by your stillness and held by your care. 6. The mindset that attracts, not chases. The energy you carry into any spiritual act is more powerful than the act itself. What you believe, what you expect, what you cling to, these become the invisible hands shaping your experience. And when it comes to inviting abundance, the mind must be gentle, not gripping, receptive, not restless. Many people unknowingly approach life in a state of chasing. They long for things to change, but from a place of urgency or lack. The desire to make something happen becomes heavy even when the intention is pure, and in that heaviness, the energy hardens. Nothing flows. In Buddhist thought, attachment is not only about possessions, it is also about the desperate hope that something will save us, fix us, or finally make us feel secure. But true abundance does not come to those who chase, it comes to those who make space for it, those who hold out their hands without clenching their fists. As you place something under your pillow on February 22nd, your mindset matters more than your method. If you do it with desperation, hoping to force the universe's hand, you may only amplify the energy of need. But if you do it with openness, with calm trust, you create the conditions for natural attraction, not chasing what you want, but allowing it to come. This is not easy. The world teaches us to grasp, to hustle, to prove. But the quiet teachings of the Spirit invite us to rest in alignment, to recognize that what is truly meant for us will not require us to beg or bargain. It will come when the mind is still, when the heart is unburdened. So before you place your item, take a moment to breathe. Ask yourself, am I acting from fear or from trust? Let your thoughts slow down. Let your body soften. And if there's tension, just notice it without judgment. You don't need to be perfectly peaceful, just aware. The mindset that attracts is the one that says, I am already enough. I am ready, not because I need, but because I am willing to receive. In that quiet willingness, the door opens, not with force, but with grace. 7. A short silent blessing to whisper words. When spoken with presence, carry energy. And when whispered from the heart, they become more than sound. They become offerings, not to command the universe, but to align with it. In many Buddhist traditions, the quiet repetition of sacred phrases, mantras, or intentions is seen as a way of clearing the mind and opening the spirit. Before you rest your head on February 22nd, after placing the symbolic item beneath your pillow, a short blessing, whispered softly, or even said silently within, can deepen the energy of the moment. But this is not about reciting perfect words, it's about the feeling you bring to them. A blessing does not need to be long or elaborate. In fact, the most powerful ones are often the simplest. What matters is sincerity, a soft voice, a clear heart, a willingness to be still for a moment and speak from your center. You might close your eyes, place a hand on your chest, and breathe gently. Then say, with intention, may I welcome peace. May I walk with clarity. May what is meant for me find its way, gently and in time. Pause after each line. Let the words echo quietly within. You're not trying to stir emotion. You're simply letting your energy settle like a still lake after a stone has passed through. Some may feel nothing in this moment, no rush, no light, no sign. That's okay. True blessings are like seeds planted deep in the earth. You won't hear them grow, but something begins the moment they are placed. If you feel unsure or awkward, that too is part of the process. What matters is your willingness to be present, even for one breath, even for one quiet sentence. In that moment, you are not asking the universe to give you something. You are saying, I'm here, I'm listening, I'm open. And that openness is what allows something sacred to enter. Say your blessing, however softly, and then let it go. Let it float. Let it settle into the space between your words and your dreams. This is not a request, it's a remembering that you are already connected to what you seek. 8. How karma moves in subtle ways. Karma is often misunderstood. Many think of it as punishment or reward, a cosmic system that gives or takes based on our actions. But true karmic movement is much softer than that. It isn't loud. It doesn't strike like lightning or reward like a prize. Karma is gentle, patient, and deeply personal. It doesn't just respond to what you do, it responds to how you are. Every thought, every intention, every quiet choice shapes your path in ways you may not see at first. The way you speak to someone, the way you hold a moment of anger, the way you show up when no one is watching. These small things weave together into a subtle energy field around you, not as judgment, but as direction. In Buddhist teachings, karma is not about blame, it's about balance. When you live in alignment with compassion, with mindfulness, with honesty, you begin to move in rhythm with life rather than against it. Things begin to unfold more easily, not because you're lucky, but because you're in tune. And so, when you place an item beneath your pillow and set an intention, remember, it is not a shortcut to abundance. It is a reflection of your inner state. If that state is calm, open, and rooted in goodwill, even if imperfect, then karma moves gently, like wind through trees, quiet, unseen, but real. You may not feel it immediately. Karma doesn't always arrive with clarity. Sometimes it returns as a delayed yes, a gentle no, or a door you didn't expect to open. It's not always what you want, but it is always what leads you closer to your awakening if you're willing to see the lesson. This is why intention matters, not because the universe needs to hear it, but because you do. When you act with conscious awareness, when you place your hopes down with humility instead of desperation, karma listens. And more importantly, it responds, not with fanfare, but with quiet rearrangement. You are not being tested. You are being shaped, and everything you do, especially the soft, invisible acts of presence, contributes to that shaping. Trust that nothing good you give, in word, in thought, in silence, is ever lost. Karma remembers, always. 9. What to expect and what not to. When we engage in a spiritual practice, especially one connected to intention and abundance, the natural question is, will it work? It's a quiet longing we all carry, the hope that something will shift, that life will become kinder, more open, more generous. But part of the journey is learning how to hold that hope without turning it into pressure. You see, the moment you place something under your pillow and expect a result in return, a sum of money, a perfect opportunity, a sign, you begin to limit the very energy you're trying to invite. Expectation can become a narrow lens. It focuses too tightly on one outcome and often misses the quiet, beautiful things unfolding just outside that frame. So, what should you expect? Expect stillness, expect clarity, expect a softening within you, the feeling that you've honored something meaningful, even if no one else sees it. Expect a greater awareness of your thoughts, your choices, and the way you carry yourself through the day. And expect that in time, this awareness will begin to shape the world around you in subtle but real ways. You may begin to notice small changes: a calm where there used to be anxiety, a solution where there once was confusion, a gentle alignment of events that brings ease. These are not accidents, they are echoes, the quiet return of the energy you've sent out, now finding its way back to you. But do not expect immediate rewards. Do not expect wealth to fall into your lap overnight, and do not expect life to suddenly become effortless. This practice is not a transaction. It is an alignment, a way of tuning your energy to receive what is meant for you when the time is right. Be careful not to confuse silence with failure. Some of the most profound spiritual shifts happen quietly, like seeds growing beneath the soil. Just because you cannot see movement does not mean nothing is moving. Offer your intention gently, then let it go. Release the need to control what happens next. Trust that what is yours will find its way, and what isn't will fall away with grace. Expectation creates tension. Openness creates space. And in that space, something true can arrive. 10. Letting go so it can arrive. There comes a moment in every spiritual practice when we must release what we've held, not because we're giving up, but because we're making space. Letting go is not the end of the process, it's the beginning of trust. After the item is placed, the space is prepared, the blessing whispered, there is nothing more to do. And that's where many struggle. We are so used to holding on, to dreams, to desires, to timing, that release can feel like loss. But in truth, letting go is the most loving thing you can offer your intention. When you release your need to control how or when something happens, you allow life to breathe around you. You give the universe room to move in ways your mind cannot plan. This isn't about being passive, it's about being open. You're not stepping back, you're stepping aside, allowing a wiser current to carry what you've planted. In Buddhist practice, this is the essence of non attachment, not because we shouldn't care, but because we care enough to trust. Trust that what we've offered will be received. Trust that we don't need to chase what is already coming. Trust that timing is its own teacher. So once your head rests on the pillow, once your breath softens and your eyes begin to close, allow everything to fall away. Don't replay the ritual. Don't search for signs. Just rest, fully, gently, with the quiet knowing that you've already done enough. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means loosening your grip on how things must unfold. And in doing so, you step into a deeper kind of power, the kind that doesn't force, but allows. Sometimes the most beautiful shifts arrive in silence: a new thought, a lightness in your body, a path that appears where before there was confusion. This is how spiritual energy moves, not loudly, not all at once, but precisely, kindly, on time. So let go, not with fear, but with reverence, as if placing a paper boat on a quiet river, trusting the current to carry it exactly where it needs to go. That is where the true transformation begins, not in the act, but in the release. And now, a quiet thought to leave you with, one that may stir something deeper. What if money is just energy wearing a costume, and the real wealth has always been how deeply you're willing to trust life itself? Let that settle gently within you. If you've tried this practice, or if something moved in you as you listened, I'd love to hear about it. Share your thoughts, your feelings, or your experiences in the comments. I read each one with care, and I truly look forward to connecting with you on this quiet path.